You thought season 14 was long? Season 15 has 16 contestants. And that's on what? Alliteration. Hello everyone, my name is Irene, but you may call me Robbie for short, and today we're discussing some first impressions for the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15 and how they could potentially make sense for a future video as Pokémon Trainers. This will be a short video as the season hasn't started, and we don't yet know each queen's placement in the competition. However, this might be a tough video to put together as this is the biggest cast ever. Normally we would need to fill 13 spaces for a full Pokémon League. 8 gym leaders plus the Elite 4 members make 12 and the champion makes 13. I've made it work for other seasons because they've had 14 contestants at most in a single season, so I could factor in double eliminations, all-stars crownings, or alternating gym leaders. But this time, we have 3 queens too many. I genuinely don't know how I'm gonna fit 16 queens into a single Pokémon League. Regardless, we'll just have to wait and see how the season plays out and work our way from there. If you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments, and please refrain from any unaired spoilers, or your comment will be deleted, which could result in a ban. Anyways, let's talk Pokemon! I already have ideas for what Pokemon and Pokemon types to give some of the queens. The keyword is some, because I won't be discussing all the queens in this video. Keep in mind that these may change later on because, again, as of recording this video, the season hasn't started. Let's start with Amethyst. She explained that her drag name comes from the fact that it's her birthstone, which means she must have been born in February. That's not really relevant, but I thought you should know. When I hear the word amethyst, I always think of the character from Steven Universe, who is an alien sentient rock. Maybe Amethyst, the drag queen, could be a rock-type specialist. Then she talked about how when people first meet her, the first thing they notice is her nose. And I immediately thought of nose pass. I love when I get moments like this on Drag Race because the pairings just make themselves, and it makes my job so much easier. The next queen I want to talk about is Irene Dubois. During her Meet the Queen segment, she explained that a drag name comes from Alison Dubois, a character portrayed by Patricia Arquette in the show Media. The character from this show is a psychic, so Irene could very well be a psychic-type trainer. She also describes herself as an alien, which opens up a few possibilities for Pokemon, such as Behem or Orbeetle, both of which have extraterrestrial influences. Irene is also apparently Bosco's drag sister, whom I gave a dark-type specialty during my season 14 video, so that could come into play depending on whether she presents some of her more twisted looks she presents on her Instagram. Next we have Jax, the first of our 2 New York queens this season. New York drag queens tend to be very versatile performers, so it's a little hard to pinpoint a specific type for her right now. She does have a background in competitive cheerleading, she said during her Meet the Queens. Pom-pom style or choreo, mayhaps? The next queen is Loosey LaDuca. She claimed to be a construction worker by day and a drag queen by night, which is a very unexpected combination of professions for a queer person. Loosey's background as a construction worker made me think of Conkeldur's evolutionary line, which is inspired by the process of construction. Any of the Pokemon from this line would work excellently for her, depending on her placement in the competition, so she could very well end up as a fighting type specialist. She's pretty, she's talented, and I'm so tired of living in her shadow. It's always Marcia, Marcia, Marcia! Marcia is our second New York queen for this season. Her cast reveal look is very cutesy and somewhat delicate like the flowers that it's decorated with. I thought that she could be a grass-type specialist, and the big white daisy on the back made me think of Whimsicott, which fits with Marcia's seemingly whimsical and soft-spoken nature. Next we have Princess Poppy, who seems to have a very ethereal aesthetic. On her Instagram, she has a bunch of monochromatic outfits, including this green garden fairy look. It's the only lead we have right now, so she could easily end up as a fairy-type trainer. Up next is Robin Fierce, whose drag name comes from her obsession with Raven from Drag Race Season 2. Robin explained how a raven is a type of bird, which made her want a bird-sounding name. I thought that she potentially could be a flying type trainer. Then she described her last name as something that she wanted her drag to always be. fierce. This opens up the possibility of giving her some fierce flying type Pokemon, such as Gliscor or Staraptor, two Pokemon that can be strong and intimidating in the competitive scene. The next revealed queen for this season is Salina. I'm gonna omit her last name to avoid demonetization. Salina is a very funny character, and I'm so excited to see her this season. I showed my boyfriend the first few seconds of her Meet the Queen segment, and he immediately thought she could be an electric type specialist because she seems like a very energetic person. There are a bunch of electric type options to choose from, but one particular Pokemon stood out to him. In fact, here's a reenactment of how my boyfriend reacted.
And then I'm like a dancer, then a singer. So like actually
Toxicity.
And then all over. Baby, listen to me. Your earlobes are throbbing. That makes me way different than those other bitches, alright?
Up next, we have your favorite drag queens. Favorite drag queen. It's Sasha Colby. Sasha is legendary in the American drag scene. While she could very well take the crown home, there is a possibility where she doesn't win. If that were the case, I might be inclined to give her a water type specialty. She introduced herself as a Hawaiian queen, which opens up the possibility of an Alola-based team with Pokemon such as Bruxish or Wishiwashi. Finally, we have the Coil twins, also known as Sugar and Spice. And everything nice. Those were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girls. Sorry, 90s kid. Sugar and Spice are the first biologically related siblings to be in the same season of Drag Race, but they'll be competing individually, so let's start in alphabetical order with Spice. Based on her drag name alone, I could either give her a grass type specialty because of herbs and spices used for seasoning, which is ironic because white people aren't particularly known for seasoning their food, or fire for the capsaicin content in food. Regardless of whichever choice, a Pokemon we could give her is a Scovillain. It's a grass and fire type based on a pepper, and it has two heads, which is a nod to her twin, Sugar. Will she spice up the competition, or will she serve us some bland performances? I guess we'll have to wait and see. And our final queen from this cast is Sugar, who has already done a swell job at branding herself as the Queen of Sweets this season. I've mentioned multiple times in my video how I associate candy and sweets with the fairy type, which opens up the possibility of giving her food-like Pokemon, such as Slurpuff, Alcremie, or even one from the newest generation, like Fido. We quickly covered 11 of the 16 queens from this cast. There are a couple of queens, Anitra, Aramayari, Lux Noir London, Malaysia Baby Doll Fox, and Mistress Isabel Brooks. That didn't leave me with enough of an impression for me to give them a Pokemon or a type, but I'm sure that will change as the season progresses. Here are the Pokemon types I didn't mention in the video that could potentially be used by the queens we didn't discuss. Season 15 of RuPaul's Drag Race premieres on January 6th. That's Dia de Reyes for us in Latin America, and cheers to a new year and a fantastic new season of Drag Race. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and as always, I appreciate you being here. Bye!